Hello. In this segment, I am going to show you how to make Wu Yi oolong tea, or rather the darker oolong teas. Now, in an earlier segment, I showed you how to make uh, the green dragon oolong tea, which is a greenish oolong tea. And this time it's going to be the darker oolong, which is, and I have selected this Wu Yi oolong tea. As you can see, it's much darker than the greenish oolong. And for comparison, I brought this to show you. This is the Tea Kuan Yin oolong, which is very different. It's very different in color and also in the style. This Wu Yi oolong is more open, large leaves, and the color will also be very, very different. In the earlier segment, you saw the green dragon oolong that I made, and now I'm going to make this Wu Yi tea, which is also a oolong tea, but it is more oxidized. There are the green oolongs, and then there are the darker oolongs. The green oolongs, as I explained in the earlier segment, have a lower oxidization, and these have a longer oxidization or more oxidization, which gives the color. That is the reason for the color to be different, and not only in the appearance of the dry leaf, but also in the cup itself, the liquid. So the way to make this is pretty similar, but it's just that you can't take more than 2 infusions. In the green oolong, we took 4 infusions and it still tasted good. But in Wu Yi oolong, you cannot take as many infusions, but we can take at least 2 infusions. So let me weigh out um, the right amount of tea into this pot. Let me put the infuser right there. And I'm going to, as I said, these glass teapots are 16 ounce glass teapots. They are available on our website as 16-ounce conventional glass teapot. And since there are 16 ounces of water, and you need 2 grams of tea for 8 ounces of water, so this should really have 4 grams of tea. So I'm going to weigh out 4 grams of tea. Tear 2.5, 3.1, 3.5. Done. 4 grams. Water temperature 195 degrees. It's because it's getting more close to a black tea. 195 degrees. And the brewing time, since again we are getting closer to a black tea, we can go do a 5-minute brewing time. Here we are. You can see that now. And timing 5 minutes. You can already see how different the colors are from the earlier oolong that I made, which was the green dragon oolong. It was very light in color, golden color, but here is the Wu Yi tea, which is more brown in color, more orangish brown, and as the sunlight plays on it, it will get brighter, but it has that it has the overlying difference in color, as well as of course in the taste as well. They come from 2 different regions. Wu Yi is also called the rock tea, and it comes from the rocky region. In China, there is the techniques of making this is different from the green oolongs, or the green dragon oolong, or the Tea Kuan Yin oolong. But the still requires a high level of skill. And the cultivars that I use for this are different from the cultivars that are used for the greenish oolongs, and therefore the flavor is going to be different. The climatic conditions may be different, the soil conditions would be different. So there are so many factors at play, and the tea makers and the skilled people who can craft these teas, they know how to use all these elements of climate and the soil and the the dryness of the atmosphere uh, to get the best out of this leaf. And that is a skill mastered probably through centuries of making teas, and these lessons being handed down from generation to generation. So these are the skilled people who provide us with excellent teas, and they continue to do their bit in, and so we have to be thankful for these skilled people in the tea growing regions. So let's take a look at what's going on in this teapot. You can see the leaves are unfurling, but they are very blackish in color. They are very dark in color. And I can get an aroma, a very nice aroma, reminiscent of a earthy taste. It's called an earthy character. Let me take this out for a moment. And put it back gently without overflowing the water. There we go. 1 minute 41 seconds more to do for this first infusion. And already the color in the pot is becoming much darker than before, and it will continue to give a darker color. And the leaves are also unfurling, which gives us the knowledge that water is getting into the tea leaves, and the leaves are able to give out its flavor. The leaves are still not fully open. They are somewhat wrinkled, quite a lot wrinkled actually, and they have a lot more flavor in them. So even after the 5 minutes of brewing time, you will see that the leaves are still somewhat wrinkled, rolled up, and we can get a second infusion. So let me move that around and see, there is another 23 seconds left. So let me take this out now slowly, agitate it one more time, which is very important to get the maximum immersion. And there it goes, the timer. Okay, now let me show you this. See how dark the infusion is. See how dark the leaves are. Leaves are very dark, very different from the tea Kuan Yin oolong or the green dragon oolong, which are the greenish oolongs. And the pot of tea too is more brown, and that tells us that the oxidization has been much longer than the normal green teas, not the normal oolong teas, which are more greenish in color. So let's taste this and see. I can get a nice aroma coming up. with the steam. Again, I like to use glass teaware for this reason, because you can really appreciate the colors of the different types of teas, and they're so much. It adds to the enjoyment of tea. Cheers. Good tea, very good tea. So it's very different from the green oolongs. You got to try it out and taste it side by side, and you will notice a huge difference. This is more like a black tea because it's getting closer to more oxidization, as I said. The color is also more like a black tea, but still it is not fully oxidized. It's only about 85% oxidized. And so there is a certain quality and flavor that comes with that. And as I said, the climate and the soil and the cultivar is different. So all those contribute to this color and the character that it is that we find. I would like to say one more thing about this tea, and that is that even though it looks dark and you would think there isn't enough character in it, this is very different. It's an earthy tea, and earthiness comes from the soil, and it's only found in certain cultivars. It's very common in the oolong tea range with the higher oxidization. So that earthiness, especially in like a pu'er tea coming from Yunnan district, is very earthy. These teas have that character, the earthy character, and that's how you describe this Wuyi rock tea. I will do a second infusion, so I'll be back for that.